Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to talk about how to get your hike legs ready for the season. Now, hopefully you just watched that first video I put out, which is all about strengthening your lower body from your hip flexors all the way through your feet. And right now we're going to talk about how to get that mobility through flexibility. So we're going to go through 5 different exercises, which are stretching exercises. Some are a little bit more dynamic than others, but 5 basic exercises you can do at home to help get flexibility on the trail. So the first exercise we're going to do is just a basic hip flexor stretch. And so you're going to have your feet apart like you're going to do a lunge, but push forward only so far as you can go to not hurt your knees, but push forward and down through that hip all the way into your heel. So think of it not as leaning forward, but really pushing down through that hip. And then you're going to rotate sides. Now this one, if you want a more dynamic exercise, or if it's too hard to hold that stretch, you can go back and forth very, very slowly just to increase that flexibility in your hip flexor. And to just make it a more advanced stretch, obviously you can go as deep as you want into this stretch. Now this next one is one of my favorite because it's really about stretching your knee or your IT band, because that's one of the most overused injuries that we see out on trail. So what you're going to do is take your step stool or go on your stairs, and you're going to put your foot on the step stool or stairs, and you're just going to lean forward and back. Remember, this is not a hip flexor stretch. It's really just trying to get that stretch and flex and mobility through your IT band. And what I do just for extra support is I put both my hands on the outside of my knee so I'm able to push through and pull all the way back. Now you can hold that stretch a little bit and then go back, or you can do the repetitions a little bit faster, but remember this is a stretch and flexibility video. So what we want to see is just slow movements back and forth to stretch and mobilize that IT band. Now this next stretch we're going to do is really about getting that flexibility through your legs. So from your hip flexors down through your knees, just really working full leg in terms of your stretch. And this one is called a Cossex stretch just because of the Cossack dance that you see in Eastern European countries and Russia. But what you're going to do is spread your legs out in a straddle and then bend one, and straighten one, and lean side to side. Very, very slowly, just focusing on stretching and back and forth. Now, if this one's too hard for you, sometimes this one is actually hard for me and hard on my knees. What I like to get down into is more of a frog sit and go side to side, really opening up and stretching your hip flexors in the back. So think about moving your hip flexors in the back. And then kind of pushing out a little bit with your elbows into your knees and really just working those knees and stretching through to those knees. This one is much easier for me in terms of flexibility and trying to get that full leg stretch in. All right, and the fourth stretch we're going to do is going to be the calf stretch. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. So depending on what your preference is that you can take the stool or the step, and you can just stand and stretch your calves out, holding on to the banister or to your trekking pole through that stretch, really trying to feel the calf stretch in there. And you can go up and down if you want to try to get that full flexion and that full motion. And then the other way to do the calf stretch is getting on into the ground, putting your hands out in front and your legs behind, and just pushing through your calves all the way through to feel that stretch down through your Achilles. So just making sure you're focusing on the calf stretch all the way through your Achilles. And you can alternate feet if you want, holding 5-6 seconds on each one, and then back to both feet at the same time. Now, if you want some great flexion through the stretch, you can go up onto your toes and then back down and push through your heels and back up onto your toes. The final stretch we're going to do today is actually one of my favorite, which is going to be your foot stretch. So this is almost a full foot stretch. So basically you're going to take a ball, so it can be any ball, a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball. This just happens to be a massage ball. If you got a Rolology, you can use that as well. I also have a TheraBand foot roller, which works really well on this stretch too. So what you're going to do is just start on the inside of your foot, so the inside of your arch, and slowly roll your foot across the ball and work your way to the outside and then back to the inside and to the outside. And I will do this stretch for several minutes just because I love it. It feels so great on my feet. And then next, you actually want to do a toe stretch to get that full foot flexion. And then you're going to put your other foot in front of it to hold that ball in place. And you're just going to try to push your toes towards that floor. You get that stretch all the way through your toes. And you can do this again for several minutes, whatever feels good, just to get that full foot flexion. All right, that was it. Now, if you found this video helpful, especially for beginners who want to start strengthening those legs to get ready for the hike, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, please subscribe to my channel. It's all about hiking, backpacking, and camping, and getting out there on the trails with your dog. Thanks for watching.